Welcome back to, I believe it's the fifth or sixth video of Patterson L Properties. Hopefully, you guys have been having a great Saturday. Today, I actually went to a great event, and it was pretty awesome in regards to real estate investment from fix and flip when it comes to multi-units and actually getting more education because I'm a forever student and I love to learn, especially about real estate and all other aspects of business on a regular basis. So always remain a student no matter how much education, certifications, and degrees you obtain. It doesn't hurt at all. So if you guys are in the Northern Virginia area, I would advise you to check out the Sky Enterprise team, and I'll have their link in the bottom of my video on Facebook and on YouTube. So just check them out, and they got some great education, great people working there, and I'm looking forward to working with them in the future as well because it's all about teams. So I like going to these real estate events. It's all about networking and meeting with people, and great minds think alike. And if you got to be around the same like-minded people when you are in any business, because if not, then you're not really going to be heading in the right direction. And it's easy to be on the internet and make videos and all that good stuff. But I always say it's in one's best interest to get yourself out and about and meet people, even in the age of social media. That's the hence the word social media. So you need to socialize with other people and not just on the cell phones, not just on the computer, but actually getting up and taking your butt out someplace and actually saying, hey, I need to meet up with people, form real relationships, and not just they even have to just be about business. You guys are talking about your families, sports, favorite hobbies, things of that nature. But we all need to get out and about and connect with people because just doing it on the cell phone, well, I don't know about you, but I don't feel trustworthy. I don't really feel that trustworthy of just doing business, especially when it comes to real estate with somebody over the phone and not having a face to face. Even when you're closing on a property or closing on a wholesale, you still want to have that face to face interaction, to ensure that, the person's not a ghost or some individual somewhere in the US or somewhere around the world who's trying to scam you, basically, a scam artist. So I look at it like that. But anyways, so there's an article I came across 2 days ago that's talking about opportunity zones for real estate investors. So if you are a real estate investor, this video is definitely for you. If you're a potential real estate investor, this video is definitely for you. And there's a big opportunity is initiative going on right now for real estate investors, and it comes from the 2017 tax breaks that were implemented. I'm not getting into politics. Don't do politics here. I'm just saying this is something that can benefit you from a realistic aspect. So whatever side you're on, that's your business. Don't bring that nonsense here. It's all about business. Real men talk business. All right, so now the opportunity zones, they provide tax incentives for investors like myself and hopefully like you, investors who make long-term capital investments in designated low-income areas across the United States. So it's kind of like an urban renewal thing to where they're trying to have investors pump money into specific low-income areas. Like you see it happening in Baltimore, whether people believe it or not. People would never think that Washington, D.C. would become the expensive city that it is today. It's been gentrified. Baltimore is going to be gentrified. Atlanta, Georgia has been gentrified. Houston's being gentrified. New Orleans has been gentrified ever since Katrina. Detroit is being gentrified right now, and people are buying up properties for cents on the dollar and fixing them up. Even in parts of Ohio, like I said, I think on my last video I mentioned that, and that tripped me out. I was just like, Ohio? But yeah. So every major city is being gentrified, and it's just, and now that with the tax breaks, the new tax breaks that's out there, it gives investors more incentive to buy property. So hence, but like I always say, the downside is when you buy when an area increases in value, therefore the value of the properties increase in value, therefore the rents go up. So it's definitely it's helpful and it hurts all at the same time, but it is the cost of doing business. So that's just how it is. So, but anyways, moving on. Now myself, like I said, more about me. I make long-term investments in low-income areas as well. Um, Mainly, Pennsylvania, trying to move into the Midwest territory, eventually in the Southwest territory area. I'm not going to name any specific states because I don't have it all mapped out yet, but that is the goal. But right now it's just for Pennsylvania. So anyways, um, I do that so it gives somebody like myself and any other investors who are even doing bigger things than I am gives them, gives people like us more incentives to want to buy more real estate and whatnot, especially if we can be a part of helping an area thrive again. I think that's an awesome thing. So I can definitely get with that, the aspect of those specific things. So I think that's a great thing. And remember that the name of the game here, people, remember this, is make more money, save it, invest it, all at the same time. So I'm on the mind frame of a 50-50. I'm going to save and I'm going to invest. You save for when the times are rough, you invest for when the times are good, and even if the times aren't that good, you still invest. My personal opinion, you don't have to take it. I'm not giving out any financial advice. I'm just saying how I do business. Okay, and then you invest for the just to see what's out there, what works, what doesn't work, because that's what life is at the end of the day anyway. I don't know why people are scared to invest their money in even $5 to $10 nowadays, because you walk out the house, it's a risk. You get on a highway, especially if you're in the DMV area, it's a risk. You're in the SoCal area, it's a risk. So no matter where you're at, you walk out of that door, even if you're in the middle of nowhere, you have a chance of being hurt or being killed. That's just the world we live in. So why not invest a couple of dollars here and there and try to save a couple of dollars here and there, because stuff will happen. I always tell people that are working, a raise doesn't mean buy more crap and go on expensive vacation. A raise should really mean save and invest. But that's just my personal opinion. I'll leave it at that. Now, that's the name of the game, because you got to, and then that's why I say invest, because remember, your money loses value as once as it goes into your bank account. There's just nothing. It loses value and it's not growing like it should be. Like a lot of people call money seeds. You're supposed to plant them, and it's supposed to grow, and then you're supposed to utilize it when it's harvest time, when it actually grows. So that's just another personal opinion, and it grows in value once you put it in an asset, which is in this case, real estate. Okay, no matter where, even if you're in a place where the cost of living is cheap. If you see a demand of influx of people coming in, then it's great to have real estate. And a lot of times it's just great to buy and hold. My next thing I want to venture in as well too is buying acres of land in a great area, because you never know, somebody might want to utilize your land, and then boom, that investment you've cashed in on that investment. You never know. Hey, maybe a little shopping center will pop up, or McDonald's wants to buy the land, or Subway wants to put something on, or a gas station on your land, and they lease that land from you, and then passive income every month from them. So, and then obviously, I could go on and on, but I'm just going to stay on topic here when it comes to the topic at hand, to the article that I read about opportunity zones. So the whole thing with the investor opportunity zones, investors must invest through qualified opportunity funds. So there's actual programs out there. Obviously, do your own homework and see what works for you at the end of the day as an investor. And in return, can receive one of three types of financial benefits: a temporary deferral of inclusion in taxable income for capital gains reinvested into an opportunity fund, a step up in the basis for capital gains invested in an opportunity fund, and permanent exclusion of taxable income of capital gains if the investment is held for at least 10 years. Yes, I'm reading this because I want to ensure that the people get the proper information and they can do their own research, and then they can go from there and see if they can get a little access from these opportunity funds. So, hey, it's a beautiful thing. And this goes down to the power of the whole buy and hold strategy, like I was talking earlier. It's great to be a wholesaler, but you want to buy and hold, because wholesaler pays you a profit. So you get a profit from wholesaling a property, but you do not get guaranteed monthly income like you're working a job. And that's the whole thing of financial freedom. In real estate, they really big on, when it comes to anything else, buying and holding properties. Okay, fix and flips are great, wholesaling is great, but buying and holding, getting that monthly income, because the goal is supposed to be to be in real estate is for financial freedom. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No other way I can say it. And that's just at the end of the day, that's how it is. Now, investment property has to be a positive impact on the community. Once again, can't just be just a regular property. So the fine print of this whole movement And the policy is that it excludes properties such as golf courses, country clubs, but not necessarily buildings for a luxury hotel. So if it's a luxury hotel, it's an awesome thing. But who cares about a golf course or a country club? That's not really going to bring the value of the neighborhood up too much unless it's just a bunch of rich people moving in. That's just another story. So mainly places that bring the value of the communities up, hopefully provides more decent paying jobs too. And that's another thing to keep in mind. You want to ensure that you're being a job creator and you're having decent paying jobs so that people can be able to have access to more money. But the caveat to all of that is a lot of people's mindset in America is I make more, I spend more. And I wish the mindset was I make more, save more, and invest more. But that's another story for another day. Before I finish up and continue, hopefully you guys like my new shirt. I buy houses, Patterson L Properties. Make sure you guys get to see it. So yeah, definitely got to get more of these. I think I might put this on my Layers Anything Goes website so people wanted to purchase them. But anyways, back to the story at hand. Now, the downside to any great growth in a specific area is that when the value goes up, the members of the community's rents goes up. Gentrification. And then, like I said, I'm not picking on sides when it comes down to this issue. It's just the name of the game, An area like I remember growing up in the DMV back in the 90s, people were scared out of their freaking mind to go to Washington, D.C. And now Washington, D.C. is one of the most expensive cities in the United States of America. The same thing goes for a place like Los Angeles. People were scared out of their freaking mind to go to Los Angeles in the 90s. And now it's being gentrified and, the cost of living has gone. And the same thing, like I said, is going on in multiple other cities. And I think that's just a new thing. The well-to-do are moving back to the major cities and the working people are in the suburbs. It's just a vice versa approach. And, that's just the name. That's capitalism. Goes up, goes down, it goes round and round like a merry-go-round. So you just got to learn how to play the game, play to win or don't play at all, right? So when it boils down to it, it's just the name of the game. Property values and economic opportunities of an area determines the price of the property, how much a landlord can charge for tenants for rent. I always say, from a DMV perspective, if the rents are pretty high here and the rents are pretty high in SoCal, so if you're paying $2,500 to $3,000 for rent, that's becoming the norm in the DMV and other parts of the country. Now, if you go into a place like Louisiana, Mississippi, it's not like that. But if a landlord could do it, they would, because the name of the game is to make money, not to care about being fair in what you're charging your tenants and all that good stuff. So that's just what it is. But they know that they can't charge that kind of rent in Mississippi and Alabama and Louisiana because they know that people wouldn't be able to pay that rent, one, and then two, the landlord would essentially be out of business. So let's just keep it real on that note. So before I end this video off, it's going a little bit longer than I expected. I'm going to go to the list of the areas that the report stated in the article in regards to the areas that are having the highest amounts of capital investment, investors, and how they're benefiting off of those specific areas. So we'll start with Kings County, New York. That's about at 21.3%. Vanderburgh County, Indiana, that's about 19.8%. Oklahoma County, Oklahoma is at about 16.2%. And what else you got? District of Columbia is at 14.3%. And, with these numbers, I could see it being lower in a place like DC, Washington, DC, because they got a great job market. They got people that make six-figure salaries. So, there's not much need for a big capital investment when you're in the epicenter of the federal government and government contractors. But that's just a personal opinion. Where else? So we got Los Angeles. That's about, like I said, you can see it's a lower number, 13.9%. You're in the epicenter of Hollywood. You're in the epicenter of Netflix, epicenter of tech, entrepreneurship. So there's not a real big need for and then you got that big new stadium in Inglewood. So there's not a big need for, capital investment in a place that's already got tremendous amounts of capital investment. So New York City is about 13.8%. Once again, it's a lower number compared to Indiana and Oklahoma. I'm not saying anything bad about Indiana or Oklahoma. I'm just stating the facts in regards to where you see the areas that need the most capital investment and the other areas that really don't because they're already saturated with it. So the other areas is Fairfield, Connecticut. Fairfield County, Connecticut, at 13.3%. So obviously you can tell the difference. In Alameda County, California, 13.2%. So it just depends on the job market, depends on the saturation of the housing market as a whole to what is desperately needed and what is not desperately needed. Every state's different. They got their own different beat when it comes to the job market, when it comes to the housing market. So it's just something to look out for. Obviously, do your own research at the end of the day because that determines your financial freedom and your journey. Hey, hopefully, you guys like the video. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up. Get in and get into the game of real estate. That's all I can say, and even get into other industries when it comes to franchising and things of that nature. Because you have to have a side hustle. Don't just depend on a job when it comes to money, because that's how you remain trapped. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Take care and have a great night.